So in this week's video, I wanted to start exploring something slightly different from my usual movement or meditation practices that I share, which is something that my partner often says is one of my ways of amusing myself, but also how I kind of engage with the world. And I really realized how much I do this when I was very sick with my head injury and I needed to find a way to cope with what I potentially was facing in my life. And it's mostly through a bit of playful curiosity. So I want to be really aware that what I'm going to play with today could be seen as being very political. And this is not about politics. I just want to make that really clear. This is about ways in which we can engage with things that may be a bit more playful, inquisitive, opening our mind and our heart to seeing and exploring something in a different way from how we might automatically and default choose, and also how other people might expect us to move into a reaction. So what I wanted to explore is that over the last 9 months, 10 months, there's a world that's been created of wearing masks. And aside from the energetic aspects of wearing masks and what they do in terms of our feeling of being potentially suppressed in the throat, in our expression, in our voice, in our throat chakra, and how that impacts down into the heart space. And yes, it can have a very detrimental energetic effect if it's a choice we make about how we react. So feeling like this can feel very constrained, very poor in expression. But it also presents an opportunity, because if we think to an extent that we've lived in a world of advertising, of magazines and looking like, the perfect model, and the image issues it's created in our society about unsustainable ways of living, how social media makes us question whether or not we're living the perfect life and who is living the perfect life. And in a way, we've been living with masks for many years. We've been living with social and societal, cultural level masks. Only they've not been on our face. They've been all over our bodies and all over our energy and how we interact with each other, especially online. And what masks do in a physical sense is almost push us into the opportunity of having to look at each other in each other's eyes. And it's the eyes that are our connection. So when we're putting on these masks, and we've been interacting with our fancy outfits and our makeup and the words that we use, and we're all like, la, we're often not really making deep eye contact. Or maybe we're not really looking at what's going on at a deeper level, energetically, emotionally, in body language, and the energy reading of how we see people. So that means that by putting on a mask, you're being given an opportunity to have to make eye contact and to see how much expression there is outside of the words and the mouth itself. So what can you see in the parts of the face that remain and in the rest of the body and energy that's being conveyed as a way of communicating and expressing? And what's really interesting with exploring alternative ways in which we express ourselves and how we communicate is it starts to open up possibilities of things like how we can be telepathic, how we can use intuition and body language to engage in a subtle sense realm of what it is that we're sharing with other people. And this happens even online. It doesn't just need to be in person. And also, by not only looking at the whole body and what the energy is, we're also having to start to look at each other's eyes. And the eyes are the seat to the soul, right? They are the key in which, if you look into someone's eyes, you will be able to fall in love with the depth of who they are if you really gaze into them. And by putting something over our mouth, which I'm about to do, you get the opportunity to really look into the eyes of someone and see the wonder of what they are. And you can see their expression in another way. It's another opportunity to share connection. So I'm going to pop on my mask and I'm just going to make some funny faces and some different body language for you guys to decide and experience what you would like to think of as these different forms of expression. So this is a familiar look and I'd like to say thank you to the studio that had me get this mask for the work that we were doing originally when the studios reopened here in Sydney. And being myself, this is the first face I have to make for you guys. So with very little body language, and I really did try to keep as still as I could and just give you the eye expression, I hope you got a sense of some of the different phases of energy and emotion I was moving myself through in order to show you how, if you can just look into the eyes of someone, you can learn and connect with so much. And perhaps making a mask something that you wear and something you see other people wearing isn't such a horrific thing, but it's an opportunity to find a new way to see each other and to see the truth in each other with an open mind and an open heart about what it is that you see and you look at and that you let other people see within yourself. Being open and honest to your vulnerabilities and what you express through your eyes, and really building a deep and loving connection when you're communicating with someone through the eyes. There is so much goodness that we can evolve and draw from restrictions in life, and how they actually can help us to really focus our energy on a positive learning that opens our hearts and opens our minds to new creative outcomes in ways that we maybe never envisaged when we had too much choice and so much apparent freedom. So by being restricted, there's an opportunity to experience and play with something in a different way that maybe just possibly starts to open a kernel inside of lifting the way in which you experience things that you can translate into other experiences. And I know for myself that every time a restriction is placed into my life, I use it as an opportunity to dig a little bit deeper inside myself and find what there is that I have imposed a limit on myself by my apparent freedom. But really, this apparent restriction is a deeper opening into my heart and a deeper opening into the truth of who I am and the joy in which I am. And that joy of who I am is when I'm connecting with other people and exploring these kind of different ways, to me, fun and playful, of experiencing things in life. I'd love to hear your interpretations of my different eye gestures and communication. And I look forward to sharing with you guys next week my February love gargling tune. Take care.